Hello everyone, myself Kiran Kadakuntla, lecturer, Electronics and Communication Department. Today we are going to discuss about, today we are going to start the first unit, that is power supply. Okay, and in this today's session, that is a session 1, we are going to discuss about DC regulated power supply. Okay, so first we are going to understand what are the topic it has in a power supplies. So in power supplies unit, we have a many sessions and many subtopics we are going to learn. In that first one, we are going to learn about what is the need for DC regulated power supply. Okay, so we are learning about a power supply. We need to understand what is the need for that. Then we are going to understand the rectifiers, and in rectifiers, we will understand what is mean by rectifiers, what are the parameters of rectifiers, and types of rectifiers. Okay, so in type we'll be learning half wave, full wave. In once again full wave, we'll be learning the types of rectifiers. Then we are going to learn about the filters. So filters, what is mean by filters? Then the types of filters like C filter, pipe filters, we'll be learning in this session. Then in a next session, we will be learning about the regulator. In this, we are going to learn about what is regulator, what is line regulator, what is load regulator, then how we can implement the regulator using the Zener diode, and how we can use the Zener diode for line regulation and load regulation. Those all things we are going to learn in the regulator concept. Then we will be learning about the IC voltage regulator. It means the regulation can be obtained by using the ICs. Okay, so in this session we are going to learn what are the types of, what are the available ICs for voltage regulations. Then we have a basic switching regulators, and then we are going to learn about SMPS, that is switch mode power supply. Then next last topic in this sub unit will be UPS, that is uninterrupted power supply. Okay, so in this session we are going to learn what is meant by uninterrupted power supplies and what are the types. Okay, in the types mainly we'll be discussing about the what is offline UPS and what is online UPS, what are the advantage and disadvantage of the each type of a UPSs. So these are the topics we will be covering in this unit, that is a power supplies unit. Okay, so today is the first session of this unit. So we'll be learning about what is the need for regulated power supply and what is the block diagram. Okay, all the things we'll be learning in this session. Let's move on to the topic. So in this session, these are the topics we'll be learning. First, we'll be dealing with need for DC regulated power supply. Then we'll be learning about factors affecting the unregulated power supply. So here mainly we'll be learning about the difference between regulated and unregulated. Okay. So what is meant by unregulated, what is meant by regulated, and what are the factors affecting the unregulated power supply, we'll be learning in this session. Then we will be learning introduction to DC regulated power supply. So we learn DC regulated power supply basics. Then we'll learn about the block diagram of a DC regulated power supply. So regulated power supply, in short, we can write as a RPS. Even in the lab also you might have seen that. So regulated power supply will be written as RPS. Okay. So these are the topics you'll be learning in session. Okay. So this is the first topic we are dealing in this session. That is the need for DC regulated power supply. So now you have to think what is the need. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ? ಸೊ ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಈಸ್ ಅ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ರನ್ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಗ್ಯಾಜೆಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಲೈಕ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಗ್ಯಾಜೆಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಟು ರನ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಅ ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ equipments, it needs DC power supply. Okay, so we cannot DC power supply can be obtained, the power can be obtained by the various sources, like it may be a battery or it may be a solar cells or any other way, but those have some limitations. Like if you using the battery, you cannot use for the longer life because it has its own life. So after that you have to if it is a chargeable rechargeable, you have to recharge it, or else you have to replace it. Okay, so the duration will be less. Then if you're going for the solar cells to generate the power supply, that is a good option. but the problem is initial investment will be very high. We know that solar has the advantage and disadvantage. Okay, so solar main disadvantage is its initial cost. We have to invest more uh, amount initially to set up the solar cells. Okay, so compared to all these things, so DC regulated power supply is very best to operate the our electronic gadgets. That is the main need. Okay, then what is first in this session, in this topic we'll be learning what is the factors affecting the unregulated power supply. So first we'll understand the basic of regulated and unregulated. Unregulated means which is not constant, means if which is doesn't have a regulator. Then what is the meaning of regulator? So you might ask what is mean by regulator. Regulator andre ಏನು ಅದೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, so unregulated andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So regulator means ಯಾವ where you'll be having the constant voltage. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿನೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೇರಿ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಲೋಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು? ವಿಚ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವೈ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರ್? ಸಪೋಸ್ ಅನ್ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟೆಡ್ ನಾನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? So if we are using the only unregulated power supply, we have some factors which will affect that power supply. So we'll see what are the factors that will be affecting the unregulated power supply. First one comes load variations. So load variations means, suppose think you have a power supply that is unregulated, means the power supply which does not have a regulator. Regulator illದ power supply ಇದೆ, ಆ power supply ಇಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ power available ಇದೆ, means you are taking the power. Suppose think output ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ load ನ ನೀವು vary ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. Okay, you are going to change the load. Okay, let's take an example. Your load is having the 10 kilo ohm. Next, for other requirement, you will be connecting 20 kilo ohm load or 100 kilo ohm load. Means there is a load is varying. In that case, the output gets affected. Okay, so then what happens? The output is not constant. So ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು output voltage ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅದು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, it will change. That means we are not getting the fixed output voltage. This is the one factor it may affect. Then let's move to the one more type of one more factor which may affect the unregulated power supply. That is the AC mains supply variations. So let's understand this. AC mains supply variation ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನೇ ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಇದ್ರೂ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಎ ಸಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎ ಸಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಿ ಸಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಎ ಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಾರಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ವೇರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಸಮ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಆದ್ರೂ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಅದರ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ 230 ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀವಿ ಎ ಸಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಗೋ ಟು 235, 240, 245, 250, ಆರ್ ಈವನ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್. 230 ಇರೋದು 220 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, 210 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎ ಸಿ ಮೇನ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ. In that condition, do we expect the changes in the output voltage? Okay, actually, as a user, as a consumer, we don't want any variation in the output side. So if you are using the unregulated power supply, any variation in the mains will affect the output. Okay, so this is the one more factors affecting your supply. Next, see one more, that is a temperature variation. So ನೀವು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸೆಮಿಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ನ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಲರ್ನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಡಯೋಡ್, ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಸೆಮಿಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಸ್ ದ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಸೆಮಿಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. that will result into the change in the output voltage. So temperature variation ಆದಾಗೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ವೇರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. This is the one more factor which affecting your power supply. So these are the few important factors affecting the unregulated power supply. Okay, so in this case, what is the solution? So can we adjust with all these problems in our power supply? No. Okay, so normally just you can imagine we are using the mobile chargers to charge our mobile. If that charger is providing us the varying supply, aವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, the mobile will get damaged. Okay, so we need to have a regulated power supply. Okay, So these are the points we'll discuss about this unregulated power supply. I hope you understood this. So now once we understood the problems in the unregulated power supply, now we are going to learn about the DC regulated power supply. Okay. So DC regulated power supply means the power supply which has a regulator in the circuit. Okay. So what are the main functions it will be doing? So it will be doing your AC input to a constant DC output. This is the main function it will be doing, and it will make sure that it should not change the output when there is a load change or input change or temperature change. Okay, so that is one more important task it will be doing, and even it is called as a linear power supply. Okay, and the output will be always constant irrespective of any changes in the other circumstances like load or mean supply voltage or temperature changes. Okay, so these are the main functionalities of DC regulated power supply. Okay, so this is the block diagram of regulated power supply. It is very important diagram because in this diagram it's showing the complete picture of the this regulated power supply. And in now we are going to just brief about each stages. So from your AC mains to the constant DC output, here we are going to see what are the stages it will be having. Okay, so in the subsequent sessions we will be dealing with one by one stages in detail. Okay, so these are the blocks we have. Let's discuss one by one. So this is our main supply. Okay, so from the main supply we are getting the supply. So what is the supply voltage we'll be getting from the mains? It is the, normally we take it as a 230 volt AC. Okay, alternating current. So you already know what is meant by AC and DC. I just revise it. AC means alternative current, where the value will be changing, alternatingly changing from positive and negative. So you can observe here it is positive, then it is negative, once again it is positive and it is negative. So you can see here this alternatively changing its direction. So this kind of a supply or the current we call it as alternating current. So DC current means which has only one direction. It may have positive or negative, but it will maintain in only one direction. That kind of a current we call it as a direct current or DC. Okay. So this is the main 230 volt AC supply we have. Okay. Now, can we directly convert this into our required DC voltage? Normally, what is the DC voltage we'll be using for our instrument? Very less. We are not going to use any 230 volt. We'll be using hardly 5 volt, 10 volt, 15 volt. Okay, less, very lesser than this 230 volt. So what is the first step to moving to the AC to DC? First, we have to convert. Okay, we have a large amount of AC voltage, that is a 230, but our requirement is very less, like 5, 10, 15, that range of voltages. So first imbalance is the amount of voltage available from input to output. So first we need to down convert it, means reduce the size. How we can do it? So we already learned, that is using the transformer. So in a transformer, we have a many types like step up, step down, 1:1 and all. Here the need is to convert higher voltage to the lower voltage. So we are going to use the step down transformer. So what is the function of step down transformer? It will have a primary turns and secondary turns. Based on the ratio of the primary and secondary, we can convert your higher voltage to the lower voltage. Okay. So we'll step down the voltage, and you can observe here, this is the output of a transformer. What is the difference between these two waves? Both are the AC waves. Okay. But the only difference is the voltage. You can observe here, it's an illustration. Here we have a higher voltage and here we have a lower voltage. Okay, so is it a DC? No, still it is in the form of AC, but it has a lesser voltage. Now the next step is giving it to the rectifier. So what is the function of rectifier? Rectifier is a circuit which converts your alternating current to the direct current. So you can observe here we have a alternating current which has a both positive and negative values. After the rectifier we have only positive values. Okay, so it is not pure DC, but it is DC because it has only one direction. So in the subsequent sessions, we will be learning what is rectifier, what are the types of rectifier, and how we are going to get these waves and all in the subsequent sessions. So after the rectifier, we get this kind of signal. We call it as a ripples. So you can see here, these having the ripples. Okay. So that is why the output will be ripple voltage. So can we use this kind of voltage directly to our instrument? No, because even though it is DC, it is not fixed DC. Okay, it is having the higher voltage, lower voltage, changing continuously. You can observe here. So what we have to do, we have to reduce that ripple. Actually, ideally saying we need a constant and it has a ripples. So what is the next step? It will be sent to the or passed to the smoothing circuit or a filter circuit. So what is the function of smoothing or filter circuit? It is the smoothing, as the name indicates, it smoothens the wave or it filters the pulses, means ripples present in the rectifier output. So this is the output of the filter. You can observe these ripples are reduced here. Okay. So even this also will be learning in the next sessions. What is a filter? What is the types of filter? How internally it works and how we will get this kind of a signals. Okay. So this is the output of the filter. Now, is it the constant compared to this rectifier output? It is very much lesser ripples it has, but still it is pulsating. Okay, because it has a pulse kind of a output. Still, it is not constant, and even this signal is not suitable for our gadgets, instruments of electronic instruments. So we will be sending this to the regulator. So till this point, we can call it as an unregulated power supply. This till this point, because we don't have a regulator till this point, so it is unregulated power supply. If you want the regulator, regulate means constant output voltage, then we need to pass it to the regulator. So this is the output of a regulator. So as I already told you what I mean by regulator in briefing about the topics, the regulator is a circuit which maintains the output voltage constant. So output voltage must have a constant value irrespective of the other changes. So this is a regulator. So in a regulator session also we'll be learning about what is regulator, what are the types of regulator, how regulator works. Okay. So here this is the output of a regulator. So you can observe we have a pure DC output which is maintaining the constant DC. So pure DC output we have here, then that will be given to the load. So this is the complete block diagram of regulated power supply. So I hope all the blocks are very clear to you, and even you can imagine what are the function of each stage and what is the necessity of each stage, what is the output of each stage. Okay, so this shows the complete information regarding the regulated power supply. So go through the diagram once again, try to recall the things, whether it is easy to understand. So you can imagine these all things are present in your mobile charger also. So mobile charger, what we are using to the charger also, the mains is 230 volt. Okay, internally all these that will also hang these all stages, and load will be your mobile. Okay, so this is your regulated power supply. So based on the concept we discussed, let's check our knowledge by going with some questions. That is a multiple choice questions. So first question is, the output voltage of an unregulated power supply is affected by the factors. So it is asking about or discussing about unregulated power supply output voltage will be affected by which factors. So this is the first topic we discussed. That is, let's see the option. It's giving us input voltage, load current, temperature, all of the above. So can you think which is the correct answer? So just give some time to think and answer yourself. If you attended the class correctly and understood the concept, it's very easy to understand. So in unregulated, the power supply will be affected by the input voltage changes, load current changes, and temperature changes. So the correct answer will be all of the above. Okay, understood this? Okay. Next, we'll move on to the next question. The rectifier circuit converts AC to AC, DC to AC, AC to DC, and all of the above. So think which one will be the correct answer. So rectifier, will it convert AC to AC? No. Will it convert your DC to AC? No. So it converts AC to DC. We have seen in the block diagram also, it was converting the alternating current into the direct current. So the correct answer for this question will be option C, AC to DC. So if this is the only answer is correct, then all of the above option also wrong. So the correct answer for this question is option C, AC to DC. Okay. So shall we move to the next question? Okay, third one. In an unregulated power supply, if load current increases, the output voltage dash. So it asking about whenever there is a load current increases, what about the output voltage? Will it increases or will it decreases or remains same? Okay. So let's see the option. The first option is remains same. Second option decreases. Third option increases. Fourth option is none of the above. Think which one is the correct answer? Okay. See, in this question, it is given that the load current increases. Okay. So whenever the load current increases, always the voltage will be decreases because voltage and current will be vice versa. Suppose load current decreases, the output voltage increases. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is option B, decreases. Okay. So this is the correct answer. Okay, let's move to the fourth question. In an unregulated power supply, if input AC voltage increases, the output voltage is dash. So once again, it's in unregulated power supply. Now the question regarding the voltage, supply voltage changes. If the AC input voltage changes, what will be the output voltage? Okay. So just you can general, it's like a general knowledge question. Whenever the input increases, so what will expect in the output voltage? It will also increases. Okay. Because it's unregulated, there is no any regulation part. Whenever there is an increase in input voltage, the output will also increase. So the correct answer will be option A, increases. Okay. Next, we'll move to the last question of this session. That is the output of a rectifier is. The options are 60 Hertz AC, smooth DC, pulsating DC, 120 Hertz AC. So what is the correct answer for this question? So first you have to understand what will be the output of rectifier. What will be the output of rectifier? Is it AC or DC? It will be DC. So if output of the rectifier is DC, so option A 60 Hz AC will not be a correct answer, and option D 120 Hz AC will not be a correct answer. So you will left out with only two options, that is a B and C, because both are having the DC in its statement. So just go back to your block diagram of complete regulated power supply. Just imagine what are the blocks it has and what was the output of the rectifier. So in the block diagram also we had a transformer, then it was given to the rectifier. So rectifier output was a pulsating, it was not smooth. So it was given to the smoother circuit to smoothen the DC. That means the correct answer will be pulsating DC. Okay. So this is the correct answer for this question. Okay. So this is the first session of the first unit. Okay. In this session, we have discussed about what is the need for regulated power supply. Then we discussed about what is the unregulated power supply factors which will affect the performance. Okay. Then we discussed about the DC regulated power supply. Then we understood what are the blocks it has and what is the function of each stages in the DC regulated power supply. Then we have gone through the some questions to understand the knowledge on this session. Okay. So this is the first session. Thank you. Thank you, Nanda.